7 lessons that I learned from the $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. Before I jump into the lessons, I'll tell you a short story. So what is the main reason that most people don't start a business? So when I was 18, my father bought a bunch of golden masks from China. The idea was that you would apply the mask and the mask would rejuvenate your skin, humidify it, make you look younger, more beautiful, etc. He didn't have time to sell the masks, so he just dumped them in storage and left them there. One day, while I was lounging in the living room without doing much, my father approached me and he asked me if I wanted to sell the masks. Initially, I refused because I had zero interest in selling golden masks, but he offered me 50% of the sales proceeds. This piqued my interest, so I decided to give it a go. I had no idea how to prospect, so I got a map. This was 2008, by the way, and I marked every single spa and hotel in the city. I went out, put on my best shirt. Well, I put on the shirt before going out, put out my best shirt and stuffed as many golden masks as I could into my high school backpack, and I went out into the street, basically, to knock on doors. And this is how I reached my first spa. I was nervous and drenched in sweat. I interrupted their aromatic serenity with my sales pitch. I thought nothing was gonna come out of it, but I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. The orders started coming in, one after the other. Even the owner of one of the spas signed a check for $1,500. I couldn't believe my eyes. The mystical world of business was so simple. I had a very good start in the business world, but then something bad happened. I joined business school. In business school, I had professors who had never started a business themselves teach me about EB, TDA, the 4 Ps of marketing, strategic communications, business plans. I was learning about business from textbooks, not from real life. After I graduated, I felt that I needed to do something more complex. Going out there and just selling wasn't enough. Instead of selling, I was pulling out a spreadsheet. I was working on my business plan. I was looking for investors. College overcomplicated things for me. But Noah Kagan with the $1 Million Weekend makes starting a business as simple as possible. And this is the core lesson of the book, that you have to take action. The over-analyzers and couch strategists are going to rewrite their business plan 20 times, while the doers are going to get out there and get things done. Being an entrepreneur is all about going out there and selling what you have to sell, whether that is a golden mask or your revolutionary AI-powered software. So, what are some of the top lessons that I learned from Noah Kagan's $1 Million Weekend? Here are some of my favorite ones. Lesson number 1, do first, learn later. Take action and the rest will follow. This is a quote from the book. Any analysis ahead of action is purely speculation. You really do not understand something until you've done it. Rather than trying to plan your way into the confidence to act, just start acting. First you act, and then you get feedback, and then you know where you're headed. Lesson number 2, the law of 100. If you're pursuing something that needs constant output, make a pledge to yourself that you're going to produce at least 100 of it. So 100 units. So if you're launching a YouTube channel, produce 100 videos. If you're launching a blog, write 100 articles. If you want to learn a new skill like the guitar, take 100 classes. When you do not see any traction at the beginning of a project, quitting becomes very tempting. But when you pledge to yourself and to others, the law of 100 is going to help you push through resistance when you feel like quitting. Lesson number 3, constant experimentation. When I graduated business school, I dreamt of building a $1 billion business. I always had these grandiose plans. I was so ambitious. And that was stopping me from actually taking action, because I felt that I would fall short from all that ambition. You know, instead of fueling my growth, these grandiose aspirations kept me paralyzed. I was thinking, planning, strategizing, and talking. Mostly I was talking. I did not get started because the fear of failure would make me realize I was not so great as I thought. On the contrary, when you view things as experiments, you're much more willing to let the experiment run its course and see if it works. This is the concept of A/B testing in marketing. You test A versus B, and then you know what works best. This is going to reduce your fear of starting. If you look at it as an experiment, you're not going to be so nervous. You're just going to go for it and just see if it works. Don't make a big deal out of it. Lesson number 4, start with your zone of influence. When I launched my first Facebook ads course in 2019, most of my sales came from people I knew. So former classmates, a friend of a friend, someone who attended the same conference as I did. 50% of my sales of my initial course came from my zone of influence. Don't be afraid of tapping into your zone of influence. Everyone has a zone of influence. So this could be the 200 followers you have on X. This could be your Facebook friends. If you don't have social media, this could be members of a community. Even big startups like Facebook emanated from the founders using their zone of influence. So for example, Mark Zuckerberg was emailing his friends to use the platform, right? Lesson number 5, how to sell online. There's a lot of nuances to it, but it boils down to growing an audience on one platform, then adding them to an email list and selling to that email list. That's all you need to know about selling online, and Noah Kagan makes it very, very simple. Lesson number 6, marketing is simple. So pretty similar to the previous lesson, there are 4 points or 4 stages of creating a genius marketing plan. So stage number 1 is set a hyper-focused exact goal, something like having 100,000 YouTube subscribers this year. Do a bunch of experiments. 30 days is more than enough to know the outcome. Number 3, focus on what works and just double down on that. So once you discover from your experiments what works, double down on what works. And finally, make your first 100 customers happy. So this is how you're going to get referrals, and this is how you're going to get the ball rolling. And lesson number 7, the money is on the list. So he mentions that his company AppSumo generates $65 million a year. And 50% of that comes from email. So consider this. This is someone who has 120,000 X followers, 750,000 YouTube subscribers, 150,000 TikTok fans. Yet 50% of his sales come from email. Email is the single most powerful channel to sell online, and a lot of entrepreneurs, or most entrepreneurs, are not leveraging it. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the low quality of the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you take these lessons home.